Hello people. Today's vlog is a bit different because it's absolutely persistently raining and it has been for about 3 days. I'll show you a little clip of a ride out I did a couple of days ago and I had to stop because the road was flooded. Basically, this is a kind of word of warning and a little bit of advice for people if you are running the DJI Osmo Action 3 with the DJI Wireless mic. I nearly lost. I nearly lost my receiver. And I've been going out doing various tests with various gain levels on the mic and on the receiver and on the camera to try and get the best audio. And I went out for one ride and I turned down this little lane. There were trees creating a canopy over the road. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? And there were things falling off the trees. I think an acorn or something hit my helmet, and then I felt twigs on my legs and stuff like that. And I got to a straight bit of road where there was hardly anything on the right-hand side of me, but on the left-hand side there was a pathway and a row of trees. And something else fell on my leg again. I thought, oh God, here we go. The row of trees ended in about a few hundred yards, so I thought, get through them. But when I glanced at the camera, I noticed that my receiver had fallen off. It had come out of the camera. So I realised that that thing I felt on my leg wasn't a twig. It was my blinking receiver. Of course, I stopped and I went back and tried to find it, and I couldn't find it. It wasn't in the road and it wasn't on the pathway. And I had a look in the bushes that were running along the side. I couldn't see it at all. So then I had this idea. I thought, okay, what I'll do is if I turn the camera back on and watch the video that I'd filmed so far, at the point where the sound changes from the wireless mic to the camera mics, I should be able to tell that, and that will be where my receiver obviously fell off. And to my surprise, the point where that happened was right at the beginning of the ride. When I joined a main road, I was turning right and there was heavy traffic, and I was constantly turning my head left and right looking for a gap to pull out. And I think that movement of my head going left and right, probably combined with the fact that I didn't plug it in properly, but that movement must have shaken the receiver loose. Went back to that point on the bike and searched around that junction, and as it was a busy junction, I thought, well, if it's fallen off here, it's going to be crushed because there are loads of cars going all over the place there. Couldn't find it. So then I took a very slow ride from that point to the point in this country lane or in this road where I thought it might be. Because by that time I'm thinking maybe that thing that hit my leg was the actual receiver. And I walked up and down that lane, God knows how many times, looking in the grass verge, looking on the path. I had no idea where it was because, of course, my bike continued to move before I realised it had fallen off. Then I had an idea. I thought, okay, what if I turn the mic on and walk up the path very slowly and see if it is still working, if it's not damaged or broken, whether I can sync with it. And that's what I did. I got the mic out, I held it in my hand like a metal detectorist, and I walked slowly up the road. I looked like a right idiot because at least 2 people stopped and asked me if I was all right. And I had to explain to them what I was doing. But to my amazement, at some point, as I walked up the path, the light changed from blinking green to solid green. I thought, it's still working. Not only is it working, it's round here somewhere. Unfortunately, but both fortunately, the DJI wireless mic setup works at quite a long distance. So I knew that when it turned green, that wasn't where the receiver was. So what I did was I counted my steps from where it turned from blinking green to solid green and walked all the way up the path until the signal went off again, until it started to blink again. And then I went halfway back. Now I thought, if those are the 2 extremities, then my receiver must be somewhere around the middle. And I had probably about a 5 meter section that I thought it must be round here somewhere. Because it's a semi-rural road, the curb was full of plants, and it could have fallen in the plants. It could have. I didn't think for 1 minute it would be on the other side of the road because it fell off on my left. But I looked on the path. The path had cracks in it as well, quite large ones. I looked in there. I even looked down some drain holes in case it had plopped down into a drain. But then I thought, well, how would it work if it had? And I must have looked about 5 or 6 minutes, and then suddenly I saw it, and it was actually in the bushes on this section, about another sort of 2 feet into the bushes. Now, credit to DJI. My little receiver had come off of my camera, hit the road, bounced over the path into the bushes, and all it's got to show for it is a little dent in one corner. I'll show you a picture of it. Now, obviously, I tested it and it seems to work. So credit to them again. What a piece of kit. But I wasn't going to put it back on the camera and ride back home, and once bitten. So when I got home, I've seen some people who have put elastic bands to hold their receivers against their camera, but to me, if you're going to pay the money you have to pay for that sort of camera and that sort of receiver, you don't really want to have to put plastic bands on it. That's crazy. So what I've done is I've mounted the receiver on the outside of the helmet, and I've put a cable between the receiver and the camera, and the receiver is now secure. It's not going to fall off. I've put a tether on it, and it's fixed. So that was all I wanted to say today, guys. Just be careful. Make sure that it's plugged in. I know some people say there's a click, but I couldn't hear a click when I put mine in, even after I picked it up. So just beware that if you have vigorous movement, yes, I have vigorous movement, people, then it may be loose, and just perhaps either fix it, or you can get a cold shoe mount or something, anything just to prevent you losing this, because if you lose it, it's an expensive thing to lose, and it is tiny, and I can tell you from experience it is quite hard to find, especially in bushes, but I found it. So that's all, folks. If you're a biker, you ride safe. If you're not a biker, you be safe. See you later, guys. Bye.